This today for YouTube, so welcome if you're watching this from YouTube. And I've got someone that is local, literally around the corner. So Festival Mayhem, I know that's just around the corner. So I hope you're well. You know how this goes. If you've got any questions, I've been sent the topic. Funny enough, I've been sent a topic via YouTube for today, which I thought was quite a good one. It is a topic I've discussed before, but not for these, and it might have been a long time ago. So I'm going to come down to that topic. I've got some news for you, got some drum news. We're going to talk about our guests this week and things that are going on, and we are also going to talk about a very special competition that is going on, started today. And it's your choice. So many people, as I talked about last week, have been asking me about my glasses. Those that know that I wear these Jefferson eyewear glasses, which are made out of recycled drum shells. So the ones I've got on today are made from, these are the British Drum Company glasses. So Jefferson Eyewear was kind enough to say, well, why don't we do a little competition and you can win a pair of my signature shades, sunglasses, wherever you are in the world. So again, recycled, but these are my signature ones. They've got my little, you can't probably see them, but they've got my emblem inside them. It's got my name on them. They're like a green shade. I can put them on, but to be honest with you, I'll put them on and I won't be able to see anything, so I won't be able to read. Oh, and Jefferson Eyewear's in the house now. So these glasses, we're going to give a pair away. In fact, we're going to give away 2 pairs. So there's a competition that's running at the moment. So Jefferson Eyewear are in the house right now. We've done some videos. The first one went up today. And I'll tell you how you enter. You can enter from anywhere in the world. And each day for the next 7 days, we're going to put a video up on Instagram. We're going to tag it onto Facebook. And we're going to tag it onto my Twitter account as well. But Instagram's the best way to respond. And each day we're going to pick a different Jefferson Eyewear artist. So today was Carl Brazil, and we're going to ask a question regarding that artist. And the idea is you DM us the answer, so you either DM me via this account, or you DM Jefferson Eyewear through their account. You must be following both of us, and the idea will be at the end of the 7 days, the person that's got all the answers correct, or the 2 people, we're put into a draw, and you get to win a pair of those glasses. Plus, you get to win a pair of Vic Firth drumsticks, the ones that I use, the chosen ones that I use. They're not going to be old ones, they'll be new ones. I've got to find some now, hang on a minute. Yeah, there you go, which is the SD4 combo. So you get to win a pair of sticks as well. We'll send them anywhere in the world. So all you have to do is go onto Instagram. Once you finish here today, or whenever you're watching this, go down, you'll see my profile. Day 1, question 1 went up today. And like I said, featuring today's drummer was Carl Brazil. So it's a question about Carl and Robbie Williams. DM us the answer. Several people have sent me messages because I've asked you to tag as well. So all you need to do is just tag in the reply. Just put a tag of Jefferson Eyewear and MikeDolbear.com, and or just DM us and you're in the draw to win. So that's how you do that, and that's to win a pair of my signature glasses. We're calling it, what are we calling it? Forgotten now. Little Drummer Boy, I think it was called. Christmas's Little Drummer Boy. I did say I thought we should be calling it Little Drum Person, but no, we're going for Little Drummer Boy. Anyway, so go over there, check that out. In other news, there's lots of news, but in other news, I want to tell you a little bit about a special deal that Aero Drums are doing as well. A couple of weeks ago, you would have seen I did a talk about Aero Drums on here. We've done a review on MikeDolbear.com. Well, Aero Drums right now are doing a really good deal up till Christmas. They've got a 20% discount on the Aero Drum. I think that's coming in at about 125, 130 pounds or 140 bucks. So go over to aerodrum.com/offer, or just go over to Aerodrum's profile on here on Instagram and check that out. Or if you're watching it from YouTube, like I said, it's www.aerodrums, aerodrums.com/offer. And you get 20% off up till Christmas. DW has revealed and unveiled the new Dave Grohl snare drum. You would see they've been doing some iconic snare drums over the last few years. I think Hal Blaine's got one. I'm trying to think who else has got them now, but there's quite a few people that have got these drums. Charlie Watts has got one, Nick Mason's got one, and now they've done one with Dave Grohl, so that's been released now. Staying with DW, they've also added some really state-of-the-art colours to their DW MFG pedals. They look pretty cool actually, and if you go and check that out, you'll see that Thomas Lane, one of our guests that we've had on here, Thomas is actually demonstrating the pedals. He's got about 9,627 pedals obviously on the floor, and he runs across them all and plays them all, but no, seriously, he's got about, I think there's about 8 of them, but they're really cool. I think there's a blue pedal and I think there's a gunmetal pedal, which I thought looked really good actually. So they're great pedals, but they've now done them in various colours. Another guest that's been on here, Chris Coleman, has released the Meinl C squared 21-inch ride cymbal, which I'm hoping to get hold of and let you hear that soon as well. So that should be pretty cool. And a good buddy of mine and a good buddy of many people, which is relevant to those that watch this, Marco Cicola, who I've known for many years, for 20 years probably, used to be artist relations at Vic Firth, then became artist relations Evans, is now artist relations and working with Hendrix Drums, which is really good actually. Marco, like I said, an amazing guy. Those that know what a great guy he is, Marco Cicola. You can follow him actually on here. But he's now working for Hendrix Drums, which is great. And Hendrix Drums are a very small American company, but making some really good products. So, that's my drum news. Tomorrow night, we're not actually going to do a show tomorrow night. There's no guest tomorrow night, and that's because I'm doing my Zoom masterclass tomorrow night on developing creative ideas. I have a really special guest that I never announce, but there's a special guest coming on to that show. So it's a Zoom masterclass kicking off at 8 o'clock. Tickets are £15. I think there's probably about 4 or 5 places left. There's a limited amount of places. There's only 15 places in total. So there is a few places left. If you're interested, drop me a line. That's 8 o'clock UK time tomorrow night. And if you're watching this later or you're watching this on YouTube, you may have missed it. It was on the 8th. So, I had a question come in, and I actually have forgotten to make a note of the person that asked me for this, so I do apologise, but it was on YouTube, and they wanted me to talk about my favourite drum books, which, like I said, I have discussed very briefly before, but I thought I'd give this a little bit more of a chat. I've got a selection of drum books here. I want to talk about the books that I still use and I like, and why I got into these books. So again, any questions, anyone wants to participate, as in talk about anything here as well, put it in the question mark box, and I will get to them. It was me. Good. So this isn't, I don't think you're Nico Ill on, so Nico Ill, for the watching it on YouTube or watching this afterwards, this was you that sent me this on YouTube. So anyway, I thought, there you go, it's just for you then. What's your real name then? So unless you don't want to disclose it, unless you're in hiding. So I thought, right, I'd narrow it down to 5 books, almost like desert island books. And it was quite a tricky one because there's lots and lots of books that do exactly the same thing. And so I was trying to find books that have lasted the test of time with me. Nico. Okay, Nico is his name. And so this is for you, Nico. The books that, my favourite books. So books that have stayed the test of time with me. Books that meant something to me when I started them. And I'm one of these guys, which is why we're doing this masterclass tomorrow, that like to take something and then explore it and see where you can go with it, how far you can go with it, and not just take it basically one to the other. So Nico has just said, so basically I bought stick control and want to get into a book which I can use on a kit. Okay, so this is exactly the topic that we're talking about here then. So I like books that open up the parameters of playing the drums, make you think for yourself. So it's like I look at a book like a drum teacher, and when I'm teaching, I try to give the ideas or a concept, but then it's up to you to take that concept and take it to what you feel comfortable with. So these books, this is probably my third or fourth edition of this book. The first one I'm going to start with is The New Breed. And The New Breed, as you can see, is in a right state. Now, sadly, I write in my books, and I first got hold of The New Breed in August 1986. That's the very first book, and somewhere in my collection I've kept that book, but it's completely fallen to pieces where the pages have turned, etc., etc. So I've had various books of this. This book was written in 1985. I think at the time another drummer probably got me into this book, and it opened up so many. For those that don't know about Gary Chester, you should go and check out Gary Chester, not only because of this book, but in this book he's got in the back all the credits of all the songs that he's played on, all the albums he's played on, as you can see. So he was a very, very versatile and great drummer. People like Dave Weckl really got into this book. So if you don't know about this book, let me just talk to you very, very briefly about this book. So the book is made up of pages of reading exercises, built up in 2 pages per section. And then there is 39, I think. I'm doing this off the top of my head now. I should double check I got this right. There's 39 systems. So you take a system and then you take 2 bars of the reading pages. So you start off on like page 1A, which is just basically quarter notes and eighth notes. And they're just reading exercises, and then you play them on various limbs. So you may start off with a straightforward 8th pattern, and you might play those reading patterns on the bass drum. And then you may start taking it and might play it on the hi-hat, or you might take it in different sections. So it's all about being creative. So what I like, and again, anyone that has studied with me or does study with me know that I like to work on various things at the same time. Right, haven't played much drums, amazed how much everything has changed. Well, it hasn't really changed, to be honest with you. Somebody's just come in and said, haven't played much drums for 20 years, amazed how much everything has changed. It actually hasn't changed much. What it has done is there's more out there now. It's the same message, maybe spoken in various tongues. So these books will always stand the test of time. There's other books that have come along that will probably do the same thing, but in someone's views. So what I liked about this book was that I got it originally because I really wanted to enhance the way that I could read. And I used to read this as a book, as in a newspaper. I would sit and have my breakfast and I'd take pages like this. The whole thing's all falling on the floor at the moment. But I would take pages like this, which is just 16th notes, and I would just read them, like I said, like a book. So that was number one that I liked. But then when you're putting it with a click, you're working on your time. So you're not only are you working on your reading, you're working on your time. And then you start working on your independence, because obviously you've got various, you may be playing on the hi-hat, or you may be playing on the floor tom with your right hand, or the floor tom with your left hand, or whatever you want to do. So you start working on your independence. So straight away you're working on 3 elements, and then technique is added. Because if you're playing it on your bass drum and you're playing one of these pages, for example, page 22 in the book goes ba-ba-da, da-ga-da, 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 da, ba-ba-da, 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 ba-ba, ga-ga-ga, 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 ba-ba-ba, ba-ba-ba, etc., etc., etc. You get to see me sing now. And so you start having to work on your technique, because you're playing that while you're playing grooves over the top. So that's why I liked this book, New Breed, so much, okay, because it worked on 4 elements. And then it worked on a 5th element, and again, something that I talk about a lot in my lessons, and is a big part of what I talk about, and that is your musicality. It starts teaching you to think about the length of notes when you're playing. So you start thinking about music more than just rhythmic patterns. So the 5 elements. I've probably spent a year exhausting this book, and that's not exaggerating. Hours and hours and hours of practice, doing it every single way, working out what worked, working out what didn't work, to the extent now that I will now teach systems in this book, but I won't use all 39 systems. I think I've got this down to about 14 systems that I will use when I teach this book. And then you can start thinking of various ways. So, book number 1 did so much for me. The New Breed. Okay, in no order this is, by the way. Okay, book number 2. This meant so much to me because of how I came across this book. And it's called The Advanced Techniques for the Modern Drummer by Jim Chapin. Jim was always known as being a technique guy, hand guy. But he wrote this amazing, amazing jazz book, which I think was written in 1948. So somebody that came up here just a minute ago and said, we're still using the same old books. Well, we're still using these books, maybe number 1 because I'm that generation, but number 2 because they were the originals. So they've stood the test of time. I want to go back, it's no secret, I've always openly discussed this, but I was really fortunate to study with the great Kenny Clare. And again, if you don't know about Kenny Clare, you must Google Kenny Clare and find out more about him. An amazing UK jazz drummer, and Kenny got me onto this book. So first of all, I think that was significant because Kenny recommended something, and I would idolise everything that Kenny would say, and if Kenny Clare told me to walk across hot coals carrying my drum kit, I would have done it. So that was number 1. But what I loved about, and the book, again, made up is 4 systems. It's swing pattern over the top, and then you're playing 4 various independents over the top. So you may have a dotted 16th, ba ba da ba do ga da ba do ga da ba do ga da, while you're playing zing zing ka ding. Right, I'm gonna have to. Can you put Nick? Can you put that what you just put in the question mark so I can come to it and not lose it, otherwise I'll lose my flow. So I'm not going to ignore it, but I want you to put it into the question mark. So and then you've got straight 8s, so you could go back 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 while you're playing zing zing ka ding zing ka ding zing ka ding. And then you've got triplets. Da ga da 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 ga da da ga da ding zing ka ding while you're playing swing over the top. And then finally you've got 16s, which is always the interesting one, because now you're playing da 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 ga da ga da ga da ga da ga da ga da da ga da da ga da. Okay, and then you've got various combinations with that. Again, it has bass drum and snare drum alterations and changes it around. Coming to my next point about this book, what opened this up for me was the first time I did this first section. I remember going for a lesson with Kenny, and I was already playing at this stage. I would have been about 16, I think, when I went to Kenny. So I've been playing about 4 years. He told me to get this book. I got the book. I learnt the first section. No, it's not. But like I said, put any of this stuff into the question mark. So Nick's just come in and said, isn't this book very difficult to get through? No, it's not difficult to get through. And you do not have to be able to read. You can work this stuff out on this. So I worked the first section out, section 1, which is all zat, da, ga, da, a combination around dotted 16s. And then I went back to my lesson, and Kenny said, okay, great, but why are you leading with the right hand? And it just blew my mind. I was like, well, because that's what you do. And he said, why? Why are you leading with the right hand? Why don't you lead with the left hand? Why don't you play the left hand playing the swing and the right hand playing the dotted rhythms? And that was just like, wow. And this was long, long before a lot of people were doing this. Like I said, I would have been seeing Kenny probably maybe 1980, maybe 1981. So it blew my mind, because again, if you look at this, if you get a chance to look at this book, I'm going to try and put this up in front of me, but it's just written on 2 staves. Okay, so you're thinking ride cymbal, snare drum, but it doesn't necessarily have to be that way round. It could be on the bass drum, it could be anywhere, and like I said, it could be left-handed. So that was another book that really, really worked on those 5 elements that I've just talked about. I used to play this book to Freddie Freeloader by Miles Davis on the Kind of Blue album, and I loved it. I've got a whole host of tracks now that I use. I'm constantly changing them around, but this completely opened me up. So that's book number 2, Advanced Techniques for the Modern Drummer. Okay, now I'm going to come to a couple of books that one's already been mentioned on here, and like I said, this is no order. Stick control. And there's been hundreds and hundreds of books written with this kind of concept. This was written by George Lawrence Stone. I think this was written, I'm going to check this now, but I think this was, have I got a date for this one? Maybe not. This was a very, there's no date in this particular book when the first edition came out. This is obviously a later edition. But this again was an amazing book by George Lawrence Stone. There's a photo in the back of him in the 1960s, but I think this book was pre-1960s. But anyway, I've had, again, many of these books. There's lots of variations on this book. It was voted the #1 modern drummers list of 25 greatest drum books in 1993. I'm going to need to drink a coffee, bear with me. Nick's come in and said, Lawrence Stone teach Joe Morello. Absolutely, he taught a lot of people. And it's what it says, it's stick control. It's a combination of various sticking patterns. So again, it's quite an easy book to read because all you've got is sticking patterns. Okay, so the very first exercise, if I opened up the first one, it says single beat combination is just right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Okay, you go further on the book, and then you've got flam beats, you've got double strokes, etc., etc. So it's pretty easy to read. But again, what I loved about this book was that you could think for yourself. You could take them as sticking exercises. You could use them in the practice, practicing just on a pad or on your leg. I tell a lot of my students who are touring drummers to use these sticking exercises as warm-ups. But then you could be creative and take this around the kit. And you could take one exercise, and you could take, for example, there's a pattern in here. Let's say, let's take exercise 43. In fact, I'll tell you what we're going to do. I'm making this up as I go along here, but I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to use this exercise as today's lesson. Okay, wasn't what I was planning, but I'm going to. So I'm making this up. So bear with me. Let's get this onto my practice kit. Okay, on my coffee table. Okay, now you probably can't see me on Instagram at the moment, but let's talk about a sticking pattern here. So we're going to look at a sticking pattern called, it's exercise 43 on page 6, and the sticking pattern goes right, left, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, left, right, left. Okay, so if I just play it straight, which is what's written in the book. There's no accents written, that's all it is. Right, left, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, left, left. Okay, and you play that 20 times, put a click on it, etc., etc. Okay, did the work on that before. But then you can start thinking, well, I could get adventurous with this. What happens if I start playing the right hand maybe on, or accenting the right hand, or play it around the kit? So in this case, I'm going to play it on the cymbal. Okay, let's get that pad off for a second. So, okay, now I could be thinking, well, okay, well, let me just play walking feet. Walking feet playing 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Same exercise, turn it over. away you start becoming musical. You're playing the same sticking exercise, but you're playing musical. Okay, so now what happens if we start swinging it? So instead of it going straight, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and we go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Anyone that's getting any idea here, if you check out Zigaboo with the meters on Hey Pokey Way, there's where the rhythm is. Okay, now you can do the same thing, but let's shuffle the feet. Okay, let's think about playing a soca on the feet. Okay, now that was your made up lesson today. No, I haven't got to think about doing my 1 minute drum lesson, have I? So that is using that book. That's why I love these books. I'm looking for drum books that open up so much more and make me think for myself. So that's stick control. Next one, again, a book very much like New Breed, but in jazz form. Again, a book that I came across pretty early on, probably before Kenny Clare. Syncopation for the Modern Drummer by Ted Reed. Again, really old book, and it's just a selection of rhythmic patterns. Again, it's reading patterns, but it's more in jazz form, which is why I liked this book, because it's more in jazz form, where the New Breed is more in rock form, straight eights, where this was a little bit more swung. And again, there's just combinations of exercises. Everything I've just talked to you about before on all the other patterns and the way that I come to play them is the same thing. So you could play this, again, you could play an exercise. Exercise 1 on page 38. It's just a 4-bar phrase, and it's going to go ba da ga da 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 ba ba do ga ba da ga da da ga da ba da ga da 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 ba ba da da ba da ga da da ga da. Okay, just a reading page. Again, you can play that as a combination. So I liked this alongside the Jim Chapin book, because I could play those patterns and then start reading these exercises. Again, it's really important that you start reading these exercises and thinking of them as the lengths of their notes and not just. So the top line, for example, on 38 again, where I just played you, would be okay, I'm not trying to think of those as da 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 da. I'm trying to think of them as the band would play it. 1, 2, 3, 4, boo ba 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 boo ba ba. Okay, another great book, Syncopation. Okay, so this was the tough one. Book 5. And there were so many I could book to, and I will throw in the last ones with you as well. But book 5 was a tricky one, because I was like, right, which book can I pull out? Because there were so many books that I've come across that I really liked. But like I said, I wanted to do something that had a bit of a story to it, meant something to me, and that was this one, Advanced Funk Studies by Rick Latham. I think this book is now 30 years old. I think Rick is actually celebrating 30 years this year with this book. I don't know how I came across this book. I don't know who recommended this, why I picked it up, but I connected to this book. It's what it says on the tin. It's a funk studies book. I don't know if it's an advanced funk studies book, but it's a funk studies book. There's various sections. In fact, there's 4 major sections of various funk patterns. Quarter notes, 8th notes, hi-hat offbeats, and 16th notes. And then you've got various combinations around that. And again, I just took this book and I just played it in every single possible way. The other thing about it was that I quite liked was towards the back you have some transcriptions of great funk tracks. So you've got Steve Gadd, 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover. You've got Lenore, the musician. I've got the melody. All these great Steve Gadd funk patterns, David Garibaldi funk patterns, Peter Erskine funk patterns, and the list goes on. Harvey Mason. So this I'm going to put into my 5th book. So this, like I said, this would be my 5th book. And again, you'd play around with it and you'd mix it up. So those people that are coming in and saying, you know, are these a little bit advanced? No, they're not advanced. They're as advanced or as basic as you want them to be. And this isn't by any means me trying to be arrogant or cocky when I say that I now take this book and I don't play this book as it's now written. I've taken it, I've pushed it, so I can still keep going back, and that's what to me makes a great book. Now I have to go on because, like I said I'd do 5 books, but then I've got a few more here that I just want to give a shout out to. Advanced Funk Studies, I would now recommend any of the David Garibaldi books. I think there's some amazing David Garibaldi books. It's doing the same message, you know, various combinations. It breaks down the way that David plays, so they're really good. This is another one that I came across by, unfortunately not with us anymore, the late great Chuck Silverman. And this is Practical Applications. This is part 3, using Afro-Caribbean rhythms. I've got all 4 of these, by the way. But this, again, was one that just, you know, I connected with this book. It's got various soca rhythms, 2-3 claves, 3-2 claves. And what I've done, again, with all of these books are I find music that I connect to, that I can play these books to. I never, ever think of these as exercise books and don't play them to music. Very, very important to find. I've got song lists that play this. This was probably a little bit harder to find song lists for, but fortunately when I studied with Bob Armstrong, Bob connected me with quite a few Latin artists that this book worked with. So again, Practical Applications using Afro-Cuban rhythms. Again, does all those things that I've talked about, ticks all the boxes. 2 of my favourites, The Art of Bop Drumming by John Riley, Beyond Bop Drumming. Again, 2 of my favourite books. I love these books. They didn't make it into the top 5 just because I felt that Syncopation probably was an earlier book and probably does a lot of the things that he talks about in this book. But again, great books, great drummer. There's a lovely brush section in The Art of Bop Drumming, and what again I like about this is there's some really nice play-alongs. But like I said, the reason I had to really think about that, why would this not be in my top 1, was because I probably already had got some songs together, playlists. Regarding playlists, again, there's so many good play-alongs now that you can find that go with. I mean, Tommy Igoe's got, you know, hundreds of them that he did years ago with his great books, which again, you know, I highly recommend. There's some great there's some great apps now. Peter Erskine's got some amazing apps out there that you can download play-along tracks, minus the drummers. Weckel's got some great stuff. So there's some really, really good drumless tracks that you can play along with those books. So the 5 books, New Breed, like I said, in my opinion, no particular order. New Breed, Advanced Techniques for the Modern Drummer by Jim Chapin, Stick Control, Advanced Funk Studies by Rick Latham, and Syncopation by Ted Reed. But like I said, there's so many other great books now that are out there. Any questions about any of that? Anyone want to mention it? Talk about anything there? I'm here all week. Well, I'm not here all week. But I'll see if you've got any questions coming in. And while I'm waiting for anyone to mention that, I will talk about this week's prize. So hopefully I can get this out before Christmas. I'm going to give away this week, should have given it a bit of There will be a new one out of the... but I've got some MikeDolbear.com shirts. So I've got them in all sizes, from extra small to triple XL. So that's today's prize. Like I've said before, you do have to be based in the UK for me to send this out, because I'm sending it out at my expense, and it gets quite expensive, and unfortunately sometimes when it goes to America they're getting lost at the moment, so it's only in the UK. And so I'm going to give you a question. You know the drill. First person to come in, and only if you're watching this live can you enter this competition. Unfortunately, if you're watching this afterwards or you're watching it on YouTube, you can't enter. But you can enter the competition that we're running on Instagram, which is obviously called Little Drummer Boy Competition. So to win that t-shirt, what I need you to tell me is, can you tell me the first book that I held up today and the author? So I want to know the drum book that I've held up, the first one I held up and talked about today, and the author. And then while we're doing that, and I'm waiting for the first person to come in, like I said, you have to be based in the UK, and you have to be watching this live. Sorry, did you send the rain over? It's bucketing down here. Sorry, Ali. Yes, I did. It's not raining here. It's just freezing cold. Okay, and while I'm waiting for someone to come in and tell me the answer to that question, by the way, you can buy those t-shirts as well, but you know, obviously we're giving one away. There's no guest tomorrow night, because like I said, I'm doing my Zoom masterclass tomorrow night. Ali, you live in Bermuda, so now you're just giving the answer away for someone else. They've spoiled the party. Ali's told everybody else, so now all they need to do is just copy what Ali's just said. So my guest on Wednesday night is Dan Flint. So Dan Flint from You Me at 6 is going to be my guest on Wednesday night at 7 o'clock UK time. So that's the 9th of December at 7 o'clock. I will put it up here obviously so you'll see. So I'm still waiting for someone to come in. And like I said, Ali's already given the answer away, so if anyone wants to just copy and paste that lives in the UK, you get to win this t-shirt. And don't forget, there's still a prize. There you go. So if you can, Matinix has got the answer. I hope you're from the UK. All you need to do is DM me your size and your address to send it to. Just DM me and I will get that out to you, and hopefully you'll get it before Christmas. There is the other competition to win a pair of my signature glasses. These are about £140, £150 to win. To buy. So, like I said, shades made out of recycled drums. Jefferson Eyewear. That competition is running and will be running for the next 7 days. So you need to get all 7 answers correct to be put in with a chance of winning that. So again, just check that on my Instagram. And if you're watching this on YouTube, my Instagram is MikeDolbear.com. That's it. That's it for tonight. Matt Nix, you've won this, so just DM me an address, your size. We're doing from small to XXL, and I will get a t-shirt out to you. No problems at all. I know. I'm sorry. I just can't send them out to. I just can't send them out overseas. It's a very expensive process, and obviously, you know, things are tough at the moment, as you can imagine. So I just can't do that at the moment. But you can buy them. You can drop me a line if you want them. Both t-shirts, actually, both are up for sale. But anyway, that's it for tonight. Thank you very much. Spread the word. Come and join me on Wednesday night for Dan Flint, You Me at 6. Wednesday night at 7 o'clock UK time. There is a few places left for tomorrow's masterclass. And we have, like I said, a surprise, amazing guest. Good buddy of mine that's coming on. The topic tomorrow night is developing creative ideas. So it's just a sit back and relax. £15. It's an hour and a half, 2 hours. It's £15. 15 people, and I think there's a few places left. So again, just DM me if you're interested in that. Enter the competition, Little Drummer Boy, and I will see you all on Wednesday night. Thank you very much. Have a safe day. Bye.